Paul Harvey was one of the most famous radio personalities of the 20th century. He first went on air in 1933, and with shows like The Rest of the Story, he was a staple of American radio for decades. He was also a devout Christian who was deeply concerned that the United States was abandoning God and morality at our own peril. He expressed this in a most powerful way with his radio essay, If I Were the Devil, first published in 1964 but revised slightly over the years. The essay warns against attacks on the credibility of the Bible, marriage and family, and the promotion of pornography, socialism, and gambling, among other things. In other words, he concludes at the end, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing. His point is that American culture is already promoting these evil things. His essay is prescient because many of the very things Harvey was worried about in the 1960s have gotten much worse, to the great detriment to souls and America. If I were the Prince of Darkness, I would want to engulf the whole world in darkness. I'd have a third of its real estate and 4/5 of its population. But I would not be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I would set about however necessary to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first, and I would begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince the children that man created God instead of the other way around. I'd confide that what's bad is good, and what's good is square. And the old, I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which are in Washington. Then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make a lyric literature exciting, so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves until each, in its turn, was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine the young intellect, but neglect the disciplined emotions. I'd tell teachers to let those students run wild, and before you know it, you'd have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. With a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing and judges promoting pornography. Soon, I would evict God from the courthouse and the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. In his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and defy science. I'd lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who want it until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. What you'll bet, I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I'd convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, and that what you see on television is the way to be. And thus, I could undress you in public and lure you into bed with a disease for which there are no cures. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.